We've already crossed the canyon from the north rim to the south once, and now we get to do it 2 more times. Our first time was using a lot of lesser known trails, starting far off in the east of Grand Canyon National Park on the Hayduke Trail, going down to the bottom, the Colorado River, and then hiking east for a while on some not often used routes and trails, to then hike up to the south rim, the corridor, the main section of Grand Canyon National Park. From here, we'll hike rim to rim, from south to north, on the trails that most use, which, by no stretch of the imagination, is an easy thing. Extreme heat, extreme elevation gain, and a lot of miles to be doing in one day. But it's actually the easiest thing we'll be doing over the course of the next week, as after our rim to rim hike, we'll be heading further west into the Grand Canyon, far off trail into the depths where very, very few people ever go. Coming up is the hardest section of our entire 850-mile hike, the most talked about section of the entire Hayduke Trail, the most feared section, and hopefully the most overhyped section. We will not know until we see it for ourselves. From where we're staying in the park all the way to the north rim, it'll be about 27 miles. And considering this is the middle of May now, temperatures at the bottom are going to be as high as 120 degrees. So that is 27 miles where the majority of our day is going to be in about as extreme of temperature as you could ever find anywhere in the United States. Fully well knowing this, we unfortunately got a little bit later of a start than we had hoped for. So we'll be starting our 27-mile rim to rim at about 8 a.m. Most people will start this at about 4 or 5 a.m. Still, considering that we are close to 700 miles into our trip right now, our hike across Utah and northern Arizona, we've been going through the desert this entire time. I guess maybe we are a little bit overly confident. Generally, overconfidence leads to mistakes such as this. It's super cool going down the Bright Angel Trail and seeing the hundreds and hundreds of people out there experiencing the Grand Canyon for themselves. Some of them just going a few hundred feet down, some of them going a mile down, some of them going all the way to the Colorado River, and some of them going across like we are. It's a really brutal day hike to take on, whether you're just going down a little bit or you're going all the way. So I know the rangers do their best to prepare people, at least mentally, as to what they're getting themselves into. But it's just that heat. The heat really gets to you. And then I think everyone's going to find out very quickly that going down is quite easy, but it is coming back up that it is significantly harder. In the rest of the park, we've already been in here for, 80 miles, 90 miles, something like that. We've only seen 4 other people, and 2 of them, or 3 of them, were rangers themselves. So, aside from just being on the South Rim, we've been in here for about a week, and we've barely seen anyone. Yet on this one trail, we're seeing hundreds and hundreds of others. Still, I hope everyone walks away safe and happy to have experienced something so amazing. By the time we get to the very bottom, near Phantom Ranch, temperatures have absolutely soared and skyrocketed up to 120 degrees. We both sit down on a little bench near the bottom and just sit there in the shade, not really able to do much else because it is just so unbelievably hot. But I feel like I know just as good as anyone else that we're not trying to set a speed record here. We're just trying to do things the best way that we can. So we hang out in the shade until temperatures cool down a bit as the sun gets lower in the sky, and we continue on, shaded by the tall canyon walls. Still extremely hot, but you know, it's certainly better than hiking at 2 p.m. It feels so amazing to be back here, and it feels so amazing to overall be doing some crazy route through this place, to be spending close to 2 weeks in the Grand Canyon, to be hiking 250 miles from one end of it to the other. Really makes me think that I'd like to do something even bigger in here at some point. I think sometime in the future, that's something I'd like to try and do. There's just nowhere else in the world that's like it. Goodbye, Arizona Trail. This is the last time we'll see you on this trip. Now we follow a road on the Kaibab Plateau to drop into the canyon one more time. Stoked, but it's gonna be a very hard section coming up. So down there is Saddle Canyon, which from everything we've ever heard is the hardest part of the Hayduke Trail. It starts out with a bushwhack, and then the canyon narrows into like a slot canyon with a lot of extremely technical dry falls, pools where you have to just blindly kind of drop, I don't know, 3, 4, 6 feet into pools of water, that is. Big boulder like obstacles. It's going to be very interesting. So a bit nervous for it. Pretty much every report we've ever read, people have only been able to make like 8 miles, 5 miles, maybe like 10 miles at the most through there with like a full hiking day. So I guess we'll see how we do. So today is Saddle Canyon Day. Saddle Canyon. I guess technically we're in it right now, but it starts out with like a bushwhack. You can see these are all spiky thorns. And we're just following this wash down into the canyon. So first up, bushwhack. And then I think the canyon narrows, and then it gets a lot more fun. There is no section of the Hayduke Trail that is more talked about more feared, more overhyped, we hope. Saddle Canyon and Tapeats Creek is it. This is, from all accounts, the hardest part of the Hayduke, where supposedly you're taking every tiny little thing that you've had to deal with over the past month and a half, and you're combining it all into one day. So this section, I believe Saddle and Tapeats is only like 11 miles. Then the next day is going to be a little bit hard too for different reasons. But yeah, the rock climbing bits, the scrambling around dry falls, and the weird navigation, the falling herd trails, the bushwhacking, the like impassable raging river, we hope not. Yeah, every little thing supposedly is combined for Saddle Canyon. We are the first through hikers of this year, of this class, to come through, because there's a guy, Woody, shout out Woody, who's about 3 days ahead of us, who is going through. So the fact that we have not heard from him yet, or we have not seen him turning around to come back because it's impossible, we take as a really good sign. So Woody through hiked the Hayduke Trail last year, but pretty much everyone that hiked this trail last year had to skip this section because water levels were just too high. It was literally impossible. So Woody has come back to finish things up, you know, and just nab this final little bit. So good for him. And probably won't see you out here, Woody, but we're hoping you're having a great time out there somewhere. And yeah, anyway, Saddle Canyon, both excited. Sprocket's read like 6 blogs about this section, about this day, because it almost feels like you need to. Like you need to know that much about what you're about to do. We'll see. Cool, now the easy part. See all that loose sand? I just went right down. There's kind of like steps you can step on. What do you see? Cliff. Yeah, it's a cliff if I ever seen one. Huh. So we just completed all the bushwhacky bits. We're about 3 miles in. The first mile was maybe like the most brushy, and then maybe after like 2 miles you get to a really nasty dry fall, and hopefully you don't even see it because there's a bypass where if you get to the dry fall, you have to go back to go up some ridge on top of it and then down the other side into a side canyon to re-meet up with Saddle Canyon later. So very lengthy bypass around a very nasty dry fall, and that is also very brushy. Overall, I'd say like the bushwhack section isn't really too bad. There's just like one plant that has like a lot of spikes, and then it's just like a lot of scrub oak. But definitely 1 mile an hour, that is for sure. So now we're entering the plunge pool section. Canyon is kind of turning into a slot canyon, and I think there's going to be some new interesting stuff. It's kind of fun going from like one weird thing to the next. You know, the bushwhacking to the dry falls and the bypasses to now plunge pools within a slot canyon. I don't know why I'm avoiding that. Can I help you in any way?
I don't know, is it hard?
I think I just kind of sat my butt up onto that ledge your foot's on right now, your left foot, and then kind of just tried to reach down with right foot. And then just slowly my butt was sliding off, my arms were taking some weight. Your wall is also slippery.
How far?
8 inches.
Pretty far.
Huh? Wow, look at that. That's slippery too, so. Wow. Cool. Good moves.
Thank you. I love going backwards, so I hate going forwards.
Okay.
Forwards is the worst.
So now we begin the plunge pools. There's a little slide right there-ish, and then pool. We walk through. Cool. Now you can do it. Just slide in, get soaked, take the plunge. Wow, you did it.
Wow.
Wow.
I took the plunge. Wow, Mr. Frogs.
I don't know, the frog doesn't look very bothered. So cool. Uh-oh, you better go in it.
I have to go.
I think so.
Whoa.
What a time. You gonna do him?
Where did you come?
On your right. Wow, are you going for it?
Uh-huh, water slide.
Wow. Good luck.
Cool.
Here we have one slide. See Sprocket preparing into a nice deep pool. And then a much bigger slide. And another slide after that. So that's pretty cool. This next one's big.
Wow, how did you go so slow?
What do you mean?
I feel like it's hard to break.
Oh, master.
You are. Wow. That was fun.
Yeah.
Should have gone faster.
That's a good one for sure. Okay, now the next one, big one.
Big one.
Yes.
This would be hard to come up.
Yeah.
Ow.
You do it!
There's a frog. Okay. Should I go like feet first?
Opposed to what? Head first?
No.
Head first.
Like feet out to the side, you know?
I have no idea. I would just go straight.
Okay. Should I do it?
Yes. Wow. And then it gets deep. You're about to step into some deep. Wow. Wow. Cold. Cold water. So we have to go around that dry fall. I guess by like contouring a ledge over here, very tiny little ledge, and then going down this slope. So a lot of Saddle Canyon is just kind of like this. Big dry fall, and then some kind of bypass. This is fortunately an easier one, whereas many of them have been really not fun. To the point where I was thinking like, this isn't Saddle Canyon, this is just Bypass Canyon. Because we're just, here's a cool obstacle. Oh, nice, you can't go down it. So you gotta bypass around it. Here's another cool obstacle. Up, can't go down that either. Bypass. Bypass, 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 bypass is how it's felt so far. So really those little plunge pools you just saw were, that was so far like the coolest thing about this canyon. So I think we just finished Saddle Canyon for the most part and are soon to begin the Tapeats Creek section, which we've been more concerned about that than Saddle. And so Saddle Canyon review. I think it is extremely like overhyped or over talked about. I don't know. It's just slow. It's very slow. Come to a dry fall, here's a bypass. Come to a plunge pool that's too far down, here's a bypass. That just makes it slow because you're then scaling the cliffs on the sides of this canyon, bushwhacking on the sides of the canyon while scaling and bypassing. And for any past Haydukers or future Haydukers, this kind of still just reminds me of Monday Canyon. Except if Monday Canyon was like cool and fun or interesting. So it's certainly interesting. I just don't think it necessarily like warrants the amount of airtime that it gets. There's been so many sections of this hike that have just been like so much more fun, so much more cool, so much more interesting. Opinion on Saddle Canyon?
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun water slides.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's just like normal Hayduke Day, kind of.
Normal Hayduke day, really.
Uh-huh.
Huh. Okay.